We want to be just above that. So, and the full extent of the edent site for the most part. So if we're right up here, we should be good. You can see what we've outlined already. He's got fairly thick bone here, unusually thick. We don't see this too often. So I've got to go a little bit deeper till I see the bluish black hue of the membrane. That's when I stop with the 8 round. So we're close now to the membrane. Let's irrigate and suction that a little better. There we are. So we'll take our piezo electric device and use our OP5 scraper, or 3, pardon me, OP3. Watch yourself there, yep. And I'm just going to more clearly define our margins as we get closer to the membrane. Where am I? There we are. Okay. Up a little higher with yours, perfect. So this just allows me to get real close to the membrane without perfing it. And as we'll show you during the hands-on, you have to always be moving this tip, this handpiece. You can't let it sit still like a rotary burr. It will do nothing. So it's always in motion. I'm just smoothing out these edges here, coming closer now to the membrane. So we just about have this window outlined well enough to make it mobile. Just starting to see a little bit of movement. Now you can see it move. And now it's pretty mobilized. We can most likely pick it up at this point. And you can appreciate how thick this bone is once again. So we'll take that, and we could morselize that if we want to. Go ahead and put that in the larger. Maybe yeah, that's fine. Section right up on me. Good. Okay, let's have our trumpet, or EL1. We're going to use the EL1 with the piezo electric device. And this will allow us to undermine the membrane, as you see here. Okay, we'll just begin to, we have a small, almost like a mini septa right here that I'll trim down once we get the membrane elevated. We're good? Okay, thank you. Good. So now again, we're just going to undermine our membrane from the bony walls, just like you see here. Okay, so now we'll take our curettes, and I like to come again superiorly. Are we good? Right there? Okay. And begin to undermine superiorly. This frees up the membrane enough to give you room inferiorly and minimizes, I believe, your potential for perforation. But what I am going to do is just place the membrane in here with fixation, just to show you what it looks like. We don't really need a membrane, period. But typically what I would do if this weren't more or less a teaching situation is I just place a very small membrane up here to, again, keep this native membrane out of my way while I graft. But here, let's go ahead and take our 30 by 40, which is fairly large. For this, I'll cut this probably in half, or at least a good part of it. Again, we're not going to need, certainly not that length. So we'll take that, and that's what we use for the window. And then this guy's not going to be needed per se. I doubt so. Let's see if we can get away with this size. So again, just empirically rounding these corners. And then cutting them, about 8 or so millimeters. A full-blown 30 by 40, I cut almost a good centimeter. So let's just see how this looks. We'll go ahead and hydrate this a little bit. Yeah, please. Okay. And that's fine. That's good. So let's just see how this is going to fit in here. Yeah, we'll be putting our PRF membranes here in just a sec. But I just want to see how this membrane is looking. Yeah, that's real good. And we're able to, let's just groove the bone up here. Prior to fixation, we'll never get tacks in this bone. So, watch yourself. That's right on. Okay, let's test that. That's pretty solid. So again, I needed to be right in the trough, so to speak. Now this little guy, we're going to bring up over and do the same thing. Right there. A little bit of noise, Renee. And that felt good too. Yep, that's solid. Okay, so internally I see a small perf, so we're going to go ahead and, in this case, let's put our PRF membranes right over that. That'll work, I think, quite well. Good. Watch yourself. That's great. Excellent. And that just covered that up quite well, nicely. And let's have another one. Yep. Perfect. So we really don't have a large area to graft. But of course, at this point, we're not going to graft. We're going to go ahead and create our osteotomies, remember, for the implants. And then we'll come back and graft and then place the implants in that sequence. So we want to be careful with our retraction so we don't catch these tacks or we'll bump them right out. Okay, so suction to me. And let's go ahead and we've got beautiful ridge width. We're replacing a bicuspid and a molar. So we might well be able to suction right here. Let's get all this bone dust out. Perfect. Okay. So, tell you what, you come, there we are. Ease it up better that way. So, yep. Renee, open big for us. Attaboy. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with our Selvin burrs, we call it. It's the sharp starter burr, equivalent to the precision burr of, like, say, Nobel. It comes in a long and a short version. Let's see if we can work with the long one here. Okay. That'll be roughly right there is good. Let's have the short Selvin for that front one. And then we'll use our Versa burrs as you're going to see in sequence. So that'll be kind of neat.